Meet Dan Barrows, a self-taught beekeeper. Before bees became his friends, Dan had been in the culinary industry for 16 years when he decided to venture off to something completely different. He also had to figure out how to fit beekeeping as a profession on an island. He couldn't be a commercial beekeeper with 2,000 hives, and he knew he didn't want to be a backyard beekeeper. Shortly after figuring out the logistics, Dan and his wife, Rose Barrows, founded Eco Living Aruba in 2018. They have 21 hives across the island with a waiting list for others who want to join the hive, so to speak. Developing a more sustainable Aruba is part of the company's mission.
What's very important for us is we do ethical beekeeping. So we only take 60% of the honey from the hive. We also only take a certain amount of wax from the hive as well. It takes 5 pounds of honey to make 1 pound of wax, so they use a lot of energy for that. So learning all those things and seeing how I can fit it into a business model, it took time. It took a lot of mistakes. We went kind of different paths in terms of like what products to sell and everything like that. But it's just a matter of trial and error. But what was very important was passion. You have to have a passion for it. You have to have a passion for what you're trying to achieve and also show that's possible on the island.
Besides avoiding being stung by a bee, there are many layers to being a beekeeper.
The complexity is very complex, a lot more complex than people would think. Also, they each have personalities, different personalities. So some hives are they work very hard. Some hives just have a bad attitude or bad mood, just kind of like people, which I think is very interesting.
We are here at Eco Living Aruba today to learn more about beehiving and bees in general. Behind me, there are 5 boxes that were all handmade by Dan. And if you see right here, there is smoke coming out of here, and there's a reason for that. The smoke is to disrupt the bees' pheromones. And why do we want that to happen? Because we are about to open up one of these boxes so we can get a closer look at the bees' home.
Eco Living Aruba offers tours to locals and visitors across the island to get a very close look into the bees. At the location we are at right now, there are about 10,000 bees inside the boxes. Dan is going to give us a close look at the bees' heart at work.
You have to be very slow. And definitely do not crush any bees because that'll just set them off. We'll walk over here a little bit. See if I can find the queen. There she is.
The queen is twice as big as a worker bee, and she's the only one who can lay female and male eggs. Typically, in a beehive, there's the queen, workers, and drones. Worker bees can also lay eggs as well, but they can only lay male eggs. Reason why the queen is so important.
When wax is made, when it's brand new, it's white. And up here, that's nectar, the shiny stuff. So it's actually going to be honey. All this is also nectar. Now there's 2 different size cells. There's the bigger ones that hold the nectar and honey, but also it's for drones. And the smaller ones are for the worker bees and for pollen. This is all pollen in here. You can see the stuff that's inside the cell. It's like orange and yellow. And honey is the perfect food. It can never go bad. There's actually bacteria and yeast in it that's good for your stomach. And if you have allergies, it's great too, because there's a little bit of pollen in it as well. So in a hive, there's both pollen and nectar. Pollen is called bee bread, and the nectar is kind of like their power shake per se. So it's got a bunch of different nutrients in it.
Besides for honey, pollen, and nectar, the bees produce another very important ingredient.
So this is all honey, wax with honey on top. So this probably, and also what's cool about this, that's why I want to open it. This is propolis. So this is tree sap that they collect to sterilize the hive. And now what we do is we have alcohol, and we put this with that alcohol, the propolis, and we get propolis tinctures. And with that, we can use it in our products. So all this propolis, instead of throwing it away, it's medicinal. It has the same properties or healing effect as aloe. It's antibacterial. And if something dies in the hive, let's say like a gecko, or let's say a cockroach or something like that, and they can't get it out, they'll just entomb it in the propolis, and that sanitizes it so it doesn't have a smell, it doesn't attract other pests.
For more information on Eco Living Aruba, visit their website.